Welcome back to the Undrafted Experts. This is Zach, and I'm here to bring you Zach's Mock Draft 2.0, with trades this time. It's my second mock draft of the year, and I was thinking about introducing trades into this, considering we've heard a bit of teams that seem to be ready to move out, or teams that I think would be okay with moving out of the first round. This isn't as loaded as a class as normal, and some of these QB needy teams might try to jump up the board just to get a guy who may or may not be great. I mean, it seems to be mainly an offensive and defensive line draft from what it's looking like, with a really good corner class and a really good receiver class as well. But not much in terms of quarterbacks. No standout halfbacks from what I'm seeing. There's a couple good linebackers that I've seen. And other than that, I mean, that's about it. There's one great safety that I can think of. Maybe a second one that could sneak in. But this could be a lackluster class. So let's go ahead and get into it here. At number 1, I've got Jacksonville taking Evan Neal. At this point, it's pretty clear to me. If the Jaguars don't take an offensive tackle at 1, they want to kill Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I don't think this pick's really going to change for me over time. So to keep it short and sweet, Jaguars, you better take an offensive lineman, whether it's Neal, Iquanu, or Cross. I don't care which one of the three, take one. Then number 2 with Detroit. This is the first spot I could consider a trade out, but I'm going to keep Detroit at 2. I'm going to give them Aiden Hutchinson. It just makes sense. I think I said that in the first mock, that it just makes sense for me with Aiden Hutchinson going to Detroit, staying in state. One of the most valuable positions in football, the edge rusher. Great place to start with that very long-term rebuild going on in Detroit. Now, at 3 for Houston, it's interesting. There's multiple ways I can go. I don't think I want to go Thibodeau anymore. I might, but I don't know if I want to. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's been reports coming out on Thibodeau about him not having the drive and passion for the game. And it's reminding me very much of Jadeveon Clowney. Athletic freak, but didn't have the drive to become as good as he should have been. So, I don't know if the Texans want to take Jadeveon Clowney 2, or if they want to look at another position. I could see them shopping this pick. You know, we're going to have some fun with this mock. I've got a team in the Falcons here. For some reason, I see them going and making a move for 3 if Thibodeau's available. I don't see the Texans really feeling good about this class. Where is Houston? There they are. Oh, wait, hold on. I need them over here. So, I figure drop back 5 spots, possibly grab an offensive lineman there, or get some more assets down the line. Now, obviously, I'm only doing a 1-round mock, and I have trades set for free-for-all, so I'm just trading this straight up. Of course, neither team has more than 1 first-round pick anyway, so this really doesn't affect anything, but I figure if the Falcons were to trade up, they'd probably give up a 3rd and maybe a future 2nd to move up. Maybe only a 3rd, I don't know. Depends on how much the Texans value number 3. But we're going to put this trade through, and we're going to give Thibodeau to the Falcons in this one. Having a bit of fun with this one. I mean, might as well start posing the questions of what if teams make some trades here. And I could see I could see Thibodeau with the Falcons. That seems like a good fit for some reason. I really like that fit. And then the Jets at 4. There's a few ways I could go. Of course, I could take Stingley and really just make all the Derek Stingley Jr. fans happy, even though I'm not the biggest fan. But I'm going with Kyle Hamilton. I've stuck with that idea that I think Kyle Hamilton's going to be a great fit for the Jets. It's just a matter of whether you get him at 4 or 10. And this one, I'm going to give him to him at 4. I could easily see him falling to 10, but now with the Texans trading back to 8, I think that's where he would end up. If the Jets did not take him at 4, either them or the Giants would take him more than likely. And then the Giants at 5, I see him taking Ike Mekwonu. He's probably the second best tackle in the class. Charles Cross is good, don't get me wrong. But I think he's going to be somewhere in the third. He's probably going to be third for me. I like the versatility of Mekwonu a lot. The fact that he can play multiple positions on the O-line. So if Andrew Thomas plays really well, Mekwonu can kick into the left guard spot and play really good there. Of course, you don't pick a guard at 5, but you're picking Mekwonu with the idea that he can play tackle, and if Andrew Thomas plays good this year, then you could move Mekwonu to guard, and possibly right tackle if he can play on the right side of the line. I can't remember if he ever played over there. And then at 6, the Panthers are going to get Charles Cross here. They need offensive line badly. It's an understatement how badly they need offensive line. I mean, it was one of the worst units in football this year, or last year. So, Charles Cross can be one of the building blocks to fixing that O-line. Then at number 7, I have the Giants going with George Karlaftis. I've had him going to the Giants a lot in mocks. They really need help on the edge. I understand Stingley and Sauce Gardner are here, but their need isn't really corner. They have good corners. I mean, James Bradbury, from what I remember, had a really good season. So there's no immediate need there. But now you have the Texans at 8 after moving from 3. And there's a couple ways it could go here, but I think this is a possible landing spot for Derek Stingley Jr. I don't think he falls much further than 8, no matter what team it is. I know I had the Falcons taking. I think I flip-flopped the teams, but same pick. But I don't think Derek Stingley is going to fall at the top 10. Even though I'm not that high on him, I still think the potential is there, that he has the potential of a top 10 pick. He has the potential of a top 5 pick. But injuries are my main concern with him, which is why I'm dropping him down to 8. I've been getting comments on the Derek Stingley Jr. video about how it's a terrible take. And I understand where you're coming from because I brought up stats. But there was no way that I was going to make a video solely on the idea that a guy was dealing with injuries. That would have been me not doing my research. I understand that cornerback stats are a fickle thing and hard to judge a player. But just understand that the stats was not my full reasoning behind me not liking Derek Stingley. I have a good couple reasons, mainly injuries. Now, once again, I said it in the video. If he turns out to be a god, great. I'm glad I'm wrong. But right now, I'm not that high on Stingley. We'll see what he does in the league. But I'm not high on him right now. And then this puts me with the Broncos at 9. Report came out today that they're trying their damnedest to get Aaron Rodgers, yet no one's picking up the phone, which I'm not surprised at. So, assuming Denver cannot get their hands on Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to have them taking Kenny Pickett. I said it in my first mock that it seems like a lock, that if Denver is sitting at 9, they're more than likely taking Pickett if they don't get Rodgers in. That's just the way I see it happening. And then at 10 for the Jets, back on the board. Last time I had them taking... I think I had them taking Sauce Gardner here at 10. We're going to go a bit differently here. While I still like the idea of Sauce Gardner to the Jets, let's think about some other possible positions here. And I think probably their next big need outside of the secondary is going to be some edge help. They have no pressure, so why not give them David Ojabo out of Michigan? I don't know if he's earned enough to be a top 10 pick, to be fair. I mean, most of the time I put him with the Vikings at 12. But the way I see it, he's only played, I think, 4 years of football, collegiate and high school, I believe. And he's this damn good already. My only fear with him is the fact that he played alongside Aiden Hutchinson. That could skew his stats a lot. There's high bust potential with David Ojabo. I just want to let that be known. But, going off what we've seen, Ajabo's worth a top pick right now. So, the Jets take him at 10 to get some damn edge pressure finally. They could sign a corner in free agency. It's kind of what I'm basing this off of. There's a good amount available, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Commanders at 11. They were the football team when I did my last mock. There's a couple ways I can go here. There's 2 quarterbacks I'm specifically thinking of, really. However, I have another idea. Instead of the Commanders taking their QB at 11, what if they drop down? What if they drop down to 22 with the Raiders, and the Raiders go out and get themselves a number 1 corner? I can't think of a corner in the Raiders secondary. Honestly, I cannot off the top of my head. Now, obviously, as I said before, this is just a first round mock, so that trade looks horrible on paper that I'm just giving up 2 firsts, or just a first for a first. But that's how we're doing it for this mock, just so I can make it happen. But the Raiders see Sauce Gardner on the board. I get he's not fast. I think he's expected to run like a 4 or 5. But the Raiders could use a shutdown corner. And Sauce Gardner is that. And then that really screws over the Vikings, as that more than likely was going to be their pick. I mean, I usually have Ojabo go into him. He went at 10. Now Sauce Gardner, who would have probably been my next option, is gone at 11 because the Raiders traded in. So it would be interesting to see what the next move of the Vikings would be. I actually backed myself into a corner here with that trade. Let's see here. Well, Vikings fans, you might hate it, you might not. We're gonna have another trade here. I'm gonna trade with the Titans here. Drop back to 26. I have a plan, looking at the way the board is. I have a reason for it. So the Vikings drop back to 26. The Titans trade up. And they're going to get themselves a sure-handed receiver in Garrett Wilson. I mean, we saw it. Receiver was one of the big needs for the Titans this year. When Julio Jones wasn't healthy and A.J. Brown wasn't healthy, Tannehill had, like, nothing to work with. And I understand there's going to be some Titans fans that say that it's all on Tannehill. I don't think the Titans are moving on from Tannehill anytime soon. I just don't see it happening. So, I think the Titans moving up to 12 and getting a sure-handed receiver who can be a burner in the deep threat game, which they do need in a way, will help them long term. I mean, and it helps out the Vikings because they were in a swath of positions they didn't need. They didn't need receiver. They really don't need a true center. You could say they need a quarterback, but they're not moving on from Cousins, and they just drafted Kellen Mond in the 3rd round. Whether that means anything or not, but they have more pressing needs than a receiver, a center, or a quarterback. So, the Browns at 13, they also desperately need receiver. I mean, they've got Jarvis Landry, and that's it. And assuming they don't get rid of Baker, they're going to need somebody to put around. And this is where my favorite receiver in this draft is going to go. Treylon Burks is so damn good. I mean, I have a feeling he's going to be one of the best receivers in the league in 3 years. I see it happening. It all just depends on what team he lands with. The Browns could be a bit of a bad spot for him, but there's also the chance that him and Baker have an amazing connection. We'll wait and see. Then the Ravens at 14. I'm giving them Tyler Linderbaum. I think I gave them Tyler Linderbaum in the first mock. It just seems like a Ravens pick. It does. He fits their system. And I think I mentioned it before that their center, Bradley Bozeman, is up for an extension. Why pay him when you can get a rookie center who looks like one of the best centers we've seen in years? Just saying. Now, at 15, the Eagles have back-to-back picks here. And you could go one way or the other. It depends. I think at 15, this is where I'm going to give them Drake London. My comparison for Drake London, and everyone else has done the same comparison, but he looks exactly like Mike Evans. And that's kind of what the Eagles need. A jump ball receiver who can fight through contact. Devontae Smith can do that. Jalen Reagor, well, he can't really do much of anything, to be fair. So, why not get a true... You could set up a very similar receiver core to the way the Bucs have it, where they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Well, not Chris Godwin no more, but they did have him for a while. Devontae Smith could be a Chris Godwin type, and then you've got Drake London, who would be the Mike Evans type. I think that could work out really well in Philly. Whether Jalen Hurts can do it or not, who knows? And then at 16, I'm turning around and giving them Nakobe Dean, one of my favorite linebackers in the class. Like I said last time, I think I gave him Devin Lloyd last time. It's a toss-up. Choose one or the other. I think both are going to be really good, but Nakobe Dean's my personal favorite. So, Philly gets two of their big needs, getting a linebacker, and then wide receiver is not really their biggest need, but they still need help there, so it still makes sense. And of course, you could easily go Nakobe Dean 15, Drake London 16, or even Drake London 19. It's whatever you're feeling. Honestly, I don't care what way, but those are the two I see being picked at 15 and 16. Then the Chargers at 17, they need a run-stopping D-tackle. And this is probably going to be the guy I give them throughout the entire process. Jordan Davis is the run-stopping D-tackle that the Chargers have been looking for. And he perfectly lines up with where he'll probably go in the draft. It seems like a match made in heaven to me. Some can contest it, like say maybe linebacker, but you still have Kenneth Murray, young linebacker who has time to develop still. And on a team that had next to no run defense, get the guy who's being considered the next Vince Wilfork. Just do it. Then at 18 with the Saints, I'm giving them Jamison Williams. Get them another receiver. Seems to be their main idea. You could go quarterback. That could very easily be a Malik Willis or a Matt Corral spot. I could see it. But I don't like many of the QBs in this class. I just don't. Like, there's going to be quarterbacks that go in the first round, but I don't know if many deserve it, to be fair. And then the Eagles back up at 19. Let me see. Yeah, this is going to be Andrew Booth Jr. for me. Get their next corner. I believe this is the same guy I gave them in the first mock. This is somewhat similar to my first mock, to be fair. But we're just doing things a little different here and there. Obviously with some trades. I mean, this is post-Senior Bowl too, so some guys are going to show up that we hadn't seen at this point. Then the Steelers at 20. It's no secret. They want Malik Willis. Whether I want him or not, I don't know. I don't like this QB class. I love the potential of Malik Willis. I don't love the floor of Malik Willis. So, it's no secret the Steelers want Malik Willis, so we're going to give him to him. But as a Steelers fan, I don't know how I feel about it. It's an iffy option to me. And then the Patriots at 21. Let me see. There's one guy I'm looking for down the board. I don't know how far he moved. Let's see. Actually, let me just go by position here. No, not that far. He's at... This is a guy I want you guys to keep your eye on. Christian Watson. He had a great Senior Bowl. I get he's at 115. I'm not drafting him in the first round. But he's going to be a steal down the board, in my opinion. The only reason I thought of this is because I'm going to give the Patriots Chris Olave. It's a Patriots type pick. It just seems like the fit. Then, at 22, the Commanders traded back, got more draft capital, and now they still get Matt Corral. I mean, this is assuming they don't get a veteran, but I don't think Matt Corral's going as high as some guys have him. I don't like what I see. I did early in the season. About midway through the year, I started getting worried. And that's kind of been my case with a lot of these QBs this year. I'm not sure how I feel about many of them. And then you have the Cardinals at 23. There's two ways I could go. There really is. I could go Jermaine Johnson. I really could. But I like the idea of going with Trent McDuffie here. He's looking better and better as we get closer to draft day. He could be one of those sneaky good picks that nobody thinks about until midway through the year. Then we have the Cowboys. Last time I had them taking Nakobe Dean because it just seems like a dream fit with Parsons. This time, however, I will not be doing that. I'm giving them Trevor Penning. He plays with a certain firepower about him and just fight to him that you love to see out of NFL prospects. And the Cowboys have to start focusing on getting young on the offensive line. Tyron Smith isn't going to play forever. So go ahead and get his possible successor, who gets a few years to learn behind him. That could be one of the best scenarios for Trevor Penning, to be fair. And now you get the Buffalo Bills. And I like the idea here, Kenyon Green. That's one of the few positions you could claim the Bills could use some help, would be building up the offensive line some more. Or either side of the line, mainly offensive line. You could say possibly a corner, but I don't think they need corner that badly. I think they could definitely sign some corners and be fine. And then here is the pick that I was talking about. The Vikings trade back to 26, and they're getting one of my gems. Jermaine Johnson looked unreal at the Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl. You looked at him, almost every one-on-one that he had, he won. And in the game, he was a force. He's going to be one of those guys. He was looked at being mid-second round pick. If he does well at the combine, there's a chance he moves higher up than 26. I'll be honest, I could see him moving up to mid-teens. He looks that good, honestly. And now we have Tampa Bay. We're gonna keep the Florida corner in Florida. We're gonna give him Kyer Elam. That's like their biggest positional need is corner. Just makes the most sense. You could go with him or McCreary here. It's up to you and up to how the draft falls. But I like it either way, really. Then Green Bay at 28. I'm going to give them Trayvon Walker. He's going up boards recently. And I think it's for good reason. He looks pretty good on tape. Was a part of that vaunted Georgia defense last year. And it makes sense. It just makes sense for the Packers to get better on the D-line. Of course, you could say, oh, get a receiver. This is the Packers we're talking about. They don't get receivers. They ignore it as long as they possibly can. Let's be real here. Now, the Dolphins at 29. We're going to reach down the board a little bit and get them Bernard Raymond. That would have been my pick for the Bengals, truthfully. But I still like the idea of bringing him into Miami. They need offensive line one way or another. However the fuck they do it. Now the Chiefs. I think this is going to be one that could be a bit of an interesting decision here. Truth be told, I could understand why there'd be some hate for this pick, possibly, considering the receiver complaints and the corner complaints. I'm giving them Devin Lloyd. This guy could be a top 20 pick, but in this particular scenario, he falls all the way to 30. And I think at that point, you just have to take him if you're Kansas City. And there's something about linebackers taken with the 30th pick that I really like. TJ Watt. Anyway. Bengals at 31. Also has to be offensive line for me. I don't know how you could choose another position. The only problem, there's really not much left for offensive line. That's first round graded, in my opinion. I like Daniel Falalele. I like Zion Johnson a lot. But it's a bit interesting to take him at 31. However, the positional need is there. I'm giving him Daniel Falalele. I just don't see the Bengals doing anything else. If they don't get an offensive line this offseason, Joe Burrow is dead. It's just a confirmed thing. He's dead. And then, to finalize Zach's Mock Draft 2.0, the Lions are back up on the clock. They're getting their quarterback of the future. Sam Howell is going to the Lions. As you will now see the full mock draft. And for my reasoning behind Sam Howell, I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people think. If you look at his tape, he was thrown into the fire in his 2021 season. Didn't have his receivers, didn't have his offensive line, and he was put into a heavy RPO-based playbook. That doesn't bode well for quarterbacks trying to go to the NFL. However, you look at his previous tape, it looks pretty good. Now I get, this is where some hypocrisy comes in for me talking about Derek Stingley Jr. and complaining about only referencing his 2019 tape. But that's also why I still have Sam Howell falling as far as he does. Or really not falling, but not rising so far. Because yes, the 2021 tape shows he didn't have a good year. That is going to hurt him. I just want to let it be known, I don't think it's as bad as you would think. So one more time looking through the mock. I think this is a pretty solid mock. Maybe not as good as my first mock, just because I did some trades that kind of threw everything off. But that's the whole point of adding trades, is to have some fun with it. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all have enjoyed. Obviously, like and subscribe and ring that bell if you want more content from the undrafted experts. This is Zach, and I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one.